Dear students, today we are going to start a new lesson called the Fundamentals of Organic Chemistry. So when you take chemistry, there are three major branches: inorganic chemistry, physical chemistry and the organic chemistry. So organic compounds are studied in a separate branch called organic chemistry. So for that many reasons are there why we have to study organic compounds as a separate branch. First, the properties of organic compounds are totally different from the inorganic compounds. If you take any acid or base or salt, so these inorganic compounds are totally different from these organic compounds. So property of organic compound is different from the property of inorganic compound. That is the first reason. Next, organic compounds are more in number. Nearly 40 lakhs organic compounds are there. If you take inorganic compound, just 50,000. Around 50,000 inorganic compounds are available. If you take organic compounds, around 40 lakhs organic compounds are there. Right? So more number of compounds present. So organic compounds are studied in a separate branch called organic chemistry. The reason is properties of organic compounds are different from the inorganic compounds, then more number of organic compounds present. Then the introduction part of this lesson you already studied in 10th. You studied carbon and its compounds, right? So carbon and its compounds is nothing but what? Organic compounds. And the introduction part, you studied what is vital force theory, then what is the first organic compound prepared in the laboratory. So all these basics you already studied in 10th portion. Now we are going to study the definition of organic compound first, right? So in the 11th portion, first we have to know what is organic compound. Organic compounds are generally hydrocarbons and derivative of hydrocarbons. So we may call the organic compounds as carbon compounds also, right? So organic compounds means two major elements will be there. One is carbon, another one is hydrogen. So compounds made up of carbon and hydrogen are called as hydrocarbons. Organic compounds or carbon compounds means they are made up of carbon and hydrogen. We call them simply hydrocarbons. Next, derivative of hydrocarbons means from the hydrocarbon we will get some derivatives. For example, we take methane. This is a hydrocarbon. This simplest organic compound is made up of two elements, carbon as well as a hydrogen. Now one hydrogen can be replaced by another atom. For example, chlorine. If a hydrogen is replaced by a chlorine, we get methyl chloride or chloromethane. So this is called a derivative of hydrocarbon. So generally organic compounds are defined as the compounds, hydrocarbons and derivative of hydrocarbons. This is the definition. As I told already, organic compounds are totally different from the inorganic compounds. So what are the properties or characteristics of organic compounds? One by one we will discuss. First, organic compounds are covalent in nature. What about inorganic compounds? Inorganic compounds are generally ionic in nature. Some inorganic compounds are coordinate covalent in nature. We studied in 10th lesson, chemical bonding lesson. Different types of bondings we have already studied. If you take organic compounds, that means hydrocarbons and the derivative of hydrocarbons are covalent in nature. That means they have a covalent bond. Inorganic compounds are having mostly ionic bond. Right? So if you take carbon, this is a major element for forming a carbon compound or organic compound. What is the electronic configuration of carbon? Ground state electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2py1. So now we are going to explain the covalent nature of carbon compounds or organic compounds. For that, The basic element is carbon. Having atomic number 6, arrangement of electron is in the order of 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2py1. Now we can explain the bonding, right? So what type of bond can be formed by carbon? First, we think about the ionic bond formation. Is there any possibility for the formation of ionic bond? To form an ionic bond, there should be 8 electrons in the valence shell, isn't it? So it has to obey octet rule. It has to gain the electronic configuration of its nearest to noble gas, right? So carbon is having just 4 electrons in the outermost cell, valence shell. So carbon needs 4 more electrons, or else 4 electrons can be lost by carbon. So carbon has 2 possibilities. One is what? It can lose the 4 electron, 2 plus 1 plus 1. Carbon can lose 4 electrons to become like helium. If carbon loses 4 electrons, electronic configuration will become like the electronic configuration of helium. That is first possibility. What is the second possibility? If carbon gains 4 electrons, electronic configuration of carbon will become the electronic configuration of neon. 1s2, 2s2, 2px2, 2py2, 2pz2. So if carbon gains 4 electron, its electronic configuration will be similar like electronic configuration of neon. So 2 possibilities are there. It can lose 4 electron or it can gain 4 electron. But both the process will be difficult. Why? If carbon loses 4 electron means protons the same 6. What about number of electrons? 2. If carbon loses 4 electrons, number of protons in the nucleus will be the same 6, but number of electrons will be 2. So force of attraction between the proton and electron will not be a good one, right? So first possibility. Second possibility, it can gain 4 electron. So when it gains 4 electron, number of protons in the nucleus is same 6, but number of electrons will be 10. Just to compare the number of protons and electrons, attraction will not be a good one, right? So carbon has the tendency of losing 4 electron or gaining 4 electron. If it happens, attraction will not be a good one. So transfer of electron is not possible. So ionic bond will not form in case of carbon. So carbon is having the tendency to share the electrons. So if carbon is there, valence electron 4. So it valence electrons 4. So it can mutually share valence electrons with 4 atoms. Each hydrogen shares 1 electron. So easily it forms 4 covalent bonds. So instead of transfer of electron, mutual sharing of electron takes place in organic compounds. Okay. So as we studied in a chemical bonding lesson, if there is a formation of covalent bond, hybridization will be possible. So for overlapping, hybridized orbital will be preferred. Instead of direct overlapping of atomic orbitals, overlapping of hybridized orbitals or hybridized orbital with atomic orbital will be predominant, will be making a stronger bond. So hybridization is possible for carbon also. So ground state electronic configuration. So at excited state means when other atoms are approaching the carbon, energy will be increased. So for the carbon at excited state, electronic configuration will become 1s2, 2s1, 2px1, 2py1, 2pz1. One electron is jumped from 2s into 2pz. So in the excited state, a different hybridization is possible. It can form sp hybridized orbitals or sp2 hybridized orbitals or sp3 hybridized orbitals. 2sp, 3sp2, 4sp3 hybridized orbitals will be formed. So based on that, carbon will make a different organic compounds with a different hybridization. So geometry will be different. If you take acetylene, we already studied in 10th lesson. Acetylene or ethine, what is the hybridization of both the carbon atoms, sp, so that we get what geometry? Linear. We get ethylene or ethene. Both the carbon atoms are having sp2 hybridization, and the sp2 hybridized orbitals will be available. So geometry will be trigonal planar. Then if you take simple methane, carbon has sp3 hybridization. sp3 hybridized orbital of carbon will overlap with the 1s orbital of hydrogen. It forms tetrahedral. So all these we have already completed in chemical bonding lesson. Okay. So organic compounds are covalent in nature. It forms only covalent bond, not ionic bond. Second, organic compounds are insoluble in water. Why? Organic compounds are non-polar in nature. Okay. When we take organic compounds, they are non-polar in nature. Take the methane. There is no charge in the molecule. So the molecule has no charge. So this is non-polar. So compound is non-polar means it should be dissolved only in non-polar solvent, like a organic solvent, chloroform or carbon tetrachloride, right? Like this. So non-polar organic compounds will be dissolved only in non-polar solvents. We call them as organic solvents. Okay. So water is a polar solvent. Organic compound is non-polar, so it cannot be dissolved in polar solvent water. Third property. This is highly inflammable in nature. Organic compounds are highly inflammable in nature. It catches fire easily, right? Then fourth one, organic compounds are having low melting point and boiling point. Because the bond is a weaker bond in organic compounds. In inorganic compounds, ionic bond, which is a stronger one. But in organic compounds, we have only covalent bond. Covalent bond is a weaker bond than ionic bond. So organic compounds are having low melting as well as boiling point. Fifth point, it has a property called catenation. We already studied in 10th, isn't it? Catenation means self-linking property of carbon. So one carbon can easily combine with other carbon. The carbon is making a bond with other carbon easily. So this is called a catenation. Self-linking property of an element or an atom is called what? Catenation. So carbon has more catenation power. Even catenation is in nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur also. Comparing all these heteroatoms, carbon is having more catenation property. So that we have more number of organic compounds. I said the 40 lakhs organic compounds prepared. This is mainly due to what? Catenation. Number 6. They are exhibiting isomerism. Organic compounds are exhibiting isomerism. We take two compounds. These two are organic compounds. Molecular formula C2H6O. 2 carbon atoms. Totally 6 hydrogen atoms. 3 plus 2 plus 1. 6 hydrogen atoms. Only 1 oxygen. Take this compound. 2 carbon atoms. 3 plus 3. 6 hydrogen atoms. Only 1 oxygen atom. So 2 organic compounds having different functional group. This is alcohol. This is ether. 2 compounds with the same molecular formula but different functional groups. So these are called the functional isomers. The property is called functional isomerism. So isomerism will be exhibited by organic compounds. Next. In organic compounds, there are 2 parts, right? One is called alkyl part, another one is called functional part. Okay. So this is called alkyl part. R may be a methyl, ethyl, or propyl, whatever it may be. OH is called alcohol. This is called the functional part of organic compound. So we call this as a functional group. Okay, what is the role of these two parts in organic compound? This alkyl part is deciding the physical property of an organic compound. Okay, so physical property like melting point, boiling point, density, all the physical properties is mainly based on the molecular mass, right? So molecular mass is deciding the physical properties like melting point, boiling point, density, and so on. So this alkyl part is responsible for physical properties. Methyl, 1 carbon, 3 hydrogen atoms. Ethyl, 2 carbon atoms, 5 hydrogen atoms. So when alkyl group changes, molecular mass changes, physical property changes. Comparing methanol, ethanol has more molecular mass. Comparing this has more molecular mass, means it will have more density, right? So physical property will be changed based on this alkyl part, but functional group same. So these two compounds will have same chemical property. So alkyl part is deciding the physical property, functional part is deciding the chemical property. These two are alcohols, so property will be same, chemical property will be same. Chemical property is decided by this functional part. We call it as functional group. Last one, you already studied in 10th, called the homologous series. Homologous series means you consider a class of organic compound. So we call these as alcohols simply because functional group same. Generally we call these as alcohols. This is the first member, second member, third member. Homologous series means a series of compounds or a class of organic compounds containing same functional group, same general molecular formula, but physical property will be different. It's called homologous series. A group of or class of or a series of organic compounds with the same functional group, same chemical property, same general molecular formula, but physical properties will be changed. This is mainly due to this one. Comparing first member, second member has one extra unit, CH2 unit. Comparing second member, third member having one more extra unit. So the members are differing by CH2 unit or 14 AMU. What is the mass of this one? 12 plus 2, 14 AMU mass. So the members will differ by CH2 unit or 14 AMU. So these are called the homologous series. So if you take alkanes, what is the general molecular formula? CN H2N plus 2. If you substitute 1 here, you will get methane. 1. So when you substitute here 1, H4. Then substitute 2, you will get what? C2H6, which is nothing but ethane, CH3, CH3. Then substitute number 3, C3, H8. So CH3, CH2, CH3. First member, second member, third member. From each member, CH2 unit will be increased. This is general molecular formula for alkane. Like this, alkene CnH2n. For alkyne, CnH2n minus 2. So all these are one more questions. So with this, we complete characteristics of organic compounds. A 5 more question. Write the characteristics of organic compounds. Next one, classification of organic compound. A 3 more question. Organic compound is broadly classified into 2 types. Open chain compound, closed chain compound. Open chain compound is also called as cyclic compounds, right? Or aliphatic compounds, right? Will have a straight chain or a branched chain, no cyclic structure. So open chain compound is called a cyclic or aliphatic compound. Closed chain means cyclic compound. Right? This is also called as what? Cyclic compounds. Then the cyclic compounds will be classified into two more types. It's called the homocyclic and heterocyclic. Okay. Cyclic compounds are of two types: homocyclic compound and heterocyclic compounds. The homocyclic compound is of two types. It's called alicyclic compound, aromatic compound. So homocyclic is of two types, alicyclic as well as aromatic. Alicyclic example, this is an example of alicyclic compounds called cyclopropane. Simply we write this one, or CH2, 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 CH2. This is another example of alicyclic compound. We call this a cyclobutane. Simply we represent cyclobutane like this. Aromatic compound is of two type again: benzenoid and non-benzenoid. Aromatic homocyclic compound is of two types: benzenoid and non-benzenoid. Benzenoid compound means benzene ring will be there. For example, toluene or phenol, like that. At least one benzene ring will be there. Non-benzenoid compound means aromatic in nature, but benzene ring will not be there. Example, azulene. Okay. So with this, homocyclic compound part over. Heterocyclic. Heterocyclic is also two types. This is alicyclic and aromatic. Heterocyclic is also two types. Example for alicyclic. This is an example of alicyclic heterocyclic compound. So generally heterocyclic means in the cyclic structure one heteroatom will be there, like nitrogen or oxygen, sulfur, phosphorus, fluorine, like that one heteroatoms will be there. In homocyclic means the chain is formed by only carbon atoms. Heterocyclic means chain is formed by carbon and heteroatoms. So this is an example for alicyclic type of heterocyclic compound. This is called simply THF, tetrahydrofuran. Okay. Example for aromatic type of heterocyclic compound, pyridine. So totally 6 atoms in the cyclic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 atoms are joining together to make a cyclic structure. Out of 6, 5 carbon atom, 1 heteroatom, nitrogen. So this is heterocyclic and the property is aromatic. So that this is aromatic type of heterocyclic compound. So this is the classification of organic compound. Organic compound is broadly classified into open chain and closed chain. So closed chain is of two types, homocyclic and heterocyclic. Homocyclic is of two types, alicyclic and aromatic. Aromatic is of benzenoid and non-benzenoid. The same way heterocyclic is also two types, alicyclic and aromatic. With this classification is over. Next we move into the important concept, nomenclature of organic compounds. Nomenclature means giving name for the compounds. So how to give the name for the organic compounds? So we follow 5 steps. Generally 5 steps will be followed to give the name for organic compound. Okay, for nomenclature we follow 5 steps given by the UPAC. Right? So just call this as a UPAC. Don't say that IUPAC. So this is International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So it is an organization, a worldwide organization. They are the authority to authenticate the elements, to give the name for the compounds. So this is the Union of Chemists. Chemistry means scientists doing research in the field of chemistry. So International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry have framed some rules to give the name. So the method is called a nomenclature. Nomenclature means the method of giving name for the compound, which is given by UPAC, right? So there are 5 major steps. First step, choose longest chain. Just listen carefully. All these are basics. Up to 12th standard, we are going to follow the same method. Choose the longest chain. When we give a name for an organic compound, we have to select a longest chain. Second step, give number for longest chain. So we have to give the number for the carbon atoms present in the longest chain. 3. Give the name for substance. So in the organic compound, after selecting the longest chain, substance may be there. So we have to give the name for the substance. Third step. Fourth step is, if more than one substance is present, we have to write the name of the substance in the alphabetical order. Write the name of substituents in alphabetical order. Last step, we have to follow the formula. Prefix plus root word plus primary suffix plus secondary suffix. This is the formula. Okay. So this is UPAC formula. First write prefix, then write root word, then write primary suffix, at last write secondary suffix using the formula to complete the name of an organic compound. So there are 5 steps in giving the name of organic compounds. First one, we have to select the longest chain. Second one, we have to give the number for the carbon atoms in the longest chain. Third one, we have to write the name of the substance. 4. If more than one substance present, write the names in the alphabetical order. Last one, by following the formula, we have to write the name. So this is the UPAC steps to write name for an organic compound. First, what is prefix? So in the formula, first one is what? Prefix. Prefix means substituent, right? Name of substituent is called prefix. So it may be a halogen. A substituent may be a halogen like this. Or it may be groups like this one. So these may be present as a substituent. So after selecting the longest chain, these may be present. Any one may be, or more than one can be present as a substituent. So for that we have to use a name. So name of substituent is called what? Prefix. Right. So through all these, then only we can write UPAC name for any compound. So this is fluoro, the fluorine atom. When it comes as a substituent, how we will write fluoro, chloro, bromo, iodo, nitro, nitroso, methoxy, ethoxy, diazo, methyl, ethyl, propyl, butyl, like that, any one alkyl group. Right? Simply we call this as alkyl group. This is simply alkoxy group. Methyl present means methoxy. Ethyl group present means ethoxy. So if any substituent is present, we have to write the name of substituents like this. Then in the formula, what is the next word? Root word. Okay. A root word means name of longest chain. Okay. Take this one. What is the first rule? We have to select longest chain. Longest chain means the chain containing more number of carbon atoms. After selecting the longest chain, what we have to do? First step, selecting longest chain. Second step, we have to give the number for carbon atoms. Right? So in the longest chain, we give the number for carbon atoms. Why we are giving number from right to left? This is functional group. Functional group is attached with this carbon. This is called the head carbon. So head carbon should have lowest number. So that number is given from right to left. This is the substituent. The name of substituent is chloro. This is called prefix. Okay. So prefix is what? Chloro. At second position, chloro is present. So this is called a 2-chloro. Prefix is 2-chloro. What is the root word? Root word is the name of chain. Based on number of carbon atoms in the chain, we will write a root word. We know the name of alkanes. As we studied in 10th, we know the name of alkanes. CH4, CH3, CH3, and CH3, CH2, CH3. We already studied alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes in 10th. The name is given based on number of carbon atoms. 1 carbon means methane. 2 carbon means ethane, like that we already studied, right? So 1 methane, 2 ethane, 3 propane, 4 butane, 5 pentane, 6 hexane, 7 heptane, 8 octane, 9 nonane, 10 decane. We already studied. So root word means from the number of carbon atoms we have to take. 4 means what is the alkane name? Butane. 4 carbon atoms means alkane name butane. The root word means this alone you have to take. But. It's called a root word. So 1 carbon means alkane name methane. Just to take this one. It's called a root word. Meth. 2 carbon atoms. Alkane name ethane. Take this alone. This is the root word for 2 carbon atoms in a longest chain. Eth. So like this. Meth, eth, prop, but, pent, hex, hept, oct, non, dec. So from the alkane name, based on number of carbon atoms, you take a root word. So I have completed 2 things. One is what? Prefix. Prefix means name of substituent. If you take this compound as an example, what is the prefix? Chloro at second position, so 2-chloro. What is the root word? 4 carbon atoms present. So, but. Okay. 4 carbon atoms means alkane name butane. First, the root word is taken as but. Okay. Next, we use primary suffix. So, in the formula, what is the next one? Primary suffix. Primary suffix explains saturation and unsaturation. If you take a compound, if only single bond present between the carbon means this is called a saturated compound. Between the carbon atoms, only single bond present means it is called a saturated. Between the carbon, double bond or triple bond present means unsaturated. Okay. So primary suffix represents saturation or unsaturation. If a single bond present means we will write it as A and E. What is the primary suffix? If single bond alone present means, take this. Between the carbon atoms, only single bond. What is the primary suffix? A and E. Between the carbon atom, between carbon atoms, double bond present. This is called alkene. So last three letters will be taken. Called ene. Primary suffix E and E. Between the carbon atoms, triple bond present. What is the primary suffix? Y and E. Ine. Because this is alkyne, general name. Last three letter is taken. Primary suffix represents saturation or unsaturation. Only single bond, primary suffix A and E. Double bond, E and E. Triple bond means primary suffix Y and E. Sometimes two double bond will be there. Sometimes two double bond will be there in a compound. It's called a diene. D-I-E-N-E. Diene. Sometimes two triple bond will be there. It's called a diene. Okay. So these are all primary suffixes which represents saturation or unsaturation. So in this compound, all the covalent bonds between the carbon atoms, single bond. This is saturated. So what is the primary suffix? A-N-E. Okay. What is the formula? Prefix plus root word plus primary suffix plus secondary suffix. Okay. So we added prefix, root word is added, primary suffix is added. What is the next thing? Secondary suffix. Secondary suffix means which is derived from the name of functional group. Okay, I already told what is functional group. In this compound, alcohol is the functional group. So OH. Functional group is OH, alcohol. From the name of functional group, we derive secondary suffix. So here OL. OL is called secondary suffix. If you take aldehyde group, this is aldehyde. Secondary suffix Al. If we have ketone, secondary suffix ONE. If you have carboxylic acid, secondary suffix is oic acid. If we have thiol, secondary suffix also thiol. If we have amino group, this is called amino group. Secondary suffix amine. So secondary suffix is the word which is derived from the name of functional group. So we have completed prefix, root word, primary suffix and secondary suffix. We just add all these four, we will get the name of a compound. So we have already written prefix, name of the substituent. Root word is written but. Primary suffix is written A-N-E, only single bond present. What is the secondary suffix? Alcohol. For alcohol, secondary suffix is OL. Now what is the position of alcoholic group? First position. Okay. So in the first carbon, alcoholic group is present. Secondary suffix for alcohol is OL. Now when we join primary and the secondary suffix, this last letter will be striked out. This is general concept. When primary suffix and the secondary suffix are added, the last letter of primary suffix will be striked out. So what is the name? UPOC name for this compound? 2-chloro butane 1-ol. So this is the UPOC name of this compound. So using these steps, we have to write UPOC name of all the compounds. So this compound, this concept is very important. You just listen this video 2 or 3 times, then only you can understand. Okay. If you have any doubt, you just call me. With this, today's class over. Tomorrow, we will go for a UPOC nomenclature for some other compounds like alicyclic compound, cyclic compounds and so on. Thank you.